Hello, fellow Reachers, and welcome back to a all-new Reacher podcast. We've got quite a lot lined up for you today, including a very rubbish website introduction from Josh Sullivan.
Good old Josh Sullivan, the so-called self-proclaimed fashion guru. We will be analysing his website, which is very funny.
Well, yeah, the thing is with him is he's a self-proclaimed entrepreneur, but he doesn't know any words in the English dictionary, I'd say, other than nice and good.
Some basic ones there for him.
And that definitely does reflect in his About Us section on his website, which is quite literally a load of shite.
We've also got a introduction to a street brawl coming up with Lance Anderson challenging a very nasty woman.
A woman that definitely does deserve a slap in the face, and she's definitely going to get that if she accepts Lance's challenge.
Hopefully Lance will chin her.
Hopefully she'll get what's coming to her. And Joe Worthington's in the studio, and he's going to be reviewing some of Josh's clothing. And let me tell you this, he's not happy.
He's not a happy customer. We've heard some very violent things coming from Joe. And of course Ross will be singing us out. That's always a given at this point in the show.
Singing a bit of Frank Sinatra.
But before we get onto any of those fantastic subjects, we have got a brief Mong news.
Oh.
This comes from Gareth Archer.
I don't think much has happened in the Mong world recently, but I did hear about this. So do you want to read what's on the...
Yeah, he's emailed in a link to his latest video, and he's put a timestamp on there as well. And basically, if you go onto this timestamp on his latest video, he reveals that he has got some new glasses. Because he's been walking around with broken ones for the past 10 years. So it's a revelation.
It certainly is. I think he does say in there as well that he used anything that he can find to stick the glasses together again.
Which included various animal excrements.
Well, by the looks of things, he's got masking tape, sellotape, he's got a bit of duct tape on there, glue, which probably explains why he's so high off the fumes at all times.
So he's finally made the upgrade for £25.
But just the amount of layers that's on them glasses, though, I mean, must have been uncomfortable for him. I mean, it's just 25 quid to walk into Specsavers and buy a new pair.
But for people like him, apparently priorities are with limited edition Blu-ray sets of franchises such as Friday the 13th.
Well, I mean, he is an expert on money saving, which is why he hasn't purchased any Head and Shoulders for that hair of his. It's just completely greasy. He uses that same grease to cook his chips, so he doesn't have to go and buy any cooking oil. And he drinks piss to save on bottled water. So
he does cut corners.
He does cut corners in life, and he's finally got himself a pair of glasses, which, with his unemployment money, I guess worth it. You can now see where he's going.
Well, that was a very eventful Mong news on that side of things, but as we now journey into quite possibly one of the funniest websites ever conceived, we have sulfitclothing.co.uk.
This is definitely the moment I've been waiting for. So basically, Josh Sullivan's rubbish company, he seems to think he's revolutionizing the fashion industry by selling plain grey and black joggers, very bland clothing with his initials on. Yeah, there's nothing new there, Josh. You're just basically doing what very basic clothing companies have been doing for the past 100 years. Really nothing new at all.
Just literally the epitome of sweatshop clothing and brand such as good old Primark.
So not only are you ripping people off by overcharging them for pretty basic items, but you've also, I don't know, just completely mugging everyone off. Because on your About Us section of your website, which is very poorly written, if I may add, you've kind of contradicted yourself, mate.
And that's what we're going to be exploring as we read through the About Us section.
Well, I guess this is the worst About Us section I've ever read. I don't even know if you can call it an About Us section.
Shall we proceed?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start off by reading the first paragraph. Sulfit clothing has been designed to cater to those people who go to the gym.
Oh, God.
What does that mean?
Right, so let's break that down. So the clothing brand that he has established is designed for those people that go to the gym. So he's opened up his demographic to a fairly wide mass on that side of things. But I think it's this next sentence where he says, continuing on from that, people that go to the gym but can never find clothes to fit them. So I've never known anyone in that dire predicament where they perhaps are relatively healthy or maybe just trying to get in shape, where they've struggled to find clothing that allows them to do this?
I mean, I've never known anything like it. First of all, the people that he's catering to are pretty much the range that he's given us is from size 0 anorexic to, I guess, size 22.
Just morbidly obese people.
Of a woman's frame. But basically anyone. Because that's what he's saying. So not just people that go to the gym, but everyone and anyone. There's nothing to do with the gym. It's just all shapes and all sizes. And can never find clothes to fit them.
I've never known, like I said, anything that dire. But he goes on to then say in the next sentence, the founder and owner, Josh Sullivan, has had this problem for years.
Well, first of all, why is he talking about himself in the third person? It's him writing the fucking thing.
It makes absolutely no sense. What problem have you had for years? What? I don't understand what the issue is. So let's backtrack. Sulfit clothing has been designed to cater for those people who go to the gym but can never find clothes to fit them. The founder and owner, Josh Sullivan, has had this problem for years. What are you talking about?
I mean, he's not exactly a very... Well, he's not a strange shape. He's quite a normal
He's just
frame.
an average person.
Yeah, so why hasn't he been able to find any clothes that fit him?
Oh, well, this next line as well, which, if you want to go ahead and read this.
Yeah, it will be my pleasure. So he goes on to say, and it is him, so that last line, he's referring to himself in the third person, which is a bit pretentious, but whatever. If you find a good fit, usually the quality is terrible.
Again, is that personal experience or?
Yeah, because I don't think that's true at all. If it's a good fit, it's a good fit. Or I mean, you know,
that makes absolutely no. So if it's a good fit that fits you, therefore the quality is terrible.
And please remember, Josh Sullivan's idea of a good fit is different to the normal person. He likes clothes that fit very close to his body, almost sprayed on.
His preferred size is that of a large, but he's also prone to get clothing that is, to quote him, a bit tight.
So, yeah, and quite nice.
And nice is definitely his go-to description.
So, if we just backtrack again, the problem that he has had for so many years is finding clothes that don't feel like they've been sprayed onto him. So, in context, if you don't want your clothes to feel like they've been sprayed onto you, don't buy from this company.
But to counter that, and this is going on to his various social media pages, I've happened to stumble across his Facebook for this one, but he's advertising jogging pants that literally look as though they are spray painted to his legs.
Well, that's just it. He seems to like that clingy feel, as though someone's clinging onto his legs for dear life. I don't know why anyone would find that comfortable.
It must be some sort of fetish, but anyway, he then carries on with, that's why here at Sulfit, we have...
Where?
Well, that's a good question. Where is he?
Where is the company based? What does he mean here at Sulfit? It's an online company.
So already he's mugged himself off royally with that ridiculous statement, but we'll go with it just for now. So that's why here at Sulfit, we have only designed garments that we know will fit you perfectly and that will also last.
I think that's just a bit of that's a bit subjective on his...
Subjective and arrogant.
If we can just go back to we, who's we?
Chinese people in his basement?
Well, I think it's just him running the full organisation because his dingbat of a girlfriend does fuck all.
So that's paragraph 1.
Paragraph 1, we've got another 2 of these. He's treating us. So I'll just start us off with the next one. Starts off the next one with, we also feel like there is something missing in the market.
Well, okay. I have no idea what that could possibly be, because I find anyone to be hard-pressed to walk into a clothing store and not find any clothes.
Well, let's hope he explains what's missing in the market with the next sentence. That's interesting, that. So he's acknowledged there's something missing. Okay, great. Let's see what's missing then.
What gap is he going to fill?
I can't wait for this. Let's finally find out what's missing. We want to bring you clothes that not only you can wear in the gym, but ones you can wear out of the gym, whether you're walking around shopping or going out for a meal with family and friends.
Right, I've got 3 points here, and I don't even know which one's the most important. Point number 1. This isn't anything unique. He's not filling in any gap in the market. He is simply stating the obvious, that he is a clothing brand and he is selling clothes to cater to people that may want to buy clothing. That's point number 1.
Right, I can't wait for the next couple of points.
Point number 2 is in the usage of the clothing. So when he goes on to say, whether you're walking around shopping or going out for a meal with family and friends, that is entirely irrelevant to what you are wearing on your body.
I don't know why you need to be with family and friends.
Yeah, what if you don't have any family or friends?
Well, why should the fit of the clothes that you're wearing matter who you're with?
But bear in mind, this is coming from the man that on YouTube said that, if you're going to be wearing a trendy jacket or something that's an expensive piece of clothing, if you don't work, you shouldn't be allowed to wear it.
I mean, that's just his arrogance, I guess.
But my final point comes in the last sentence. We want to combine fitness with your lifestyle. So I don't understand why, again, that should matter for what clothing you're buying.
It's very wishy-washy.
Because if you're already a fitness person, if you enjoy getting up at the crack of dawn and going for a run, why should your lifestyle in terms of doing that, why should the combination of wearing clothing that will fit, to quote him, those people who go to the gym but can never find clothes to fit them, why should that as a demographic be?
So basically, his target demographic is confused people.
He's making clothing as a confused man, as a confused individual to confuse others into buying, to put it very bluntly, overmarked prices.
Can we send a pair of his joggers to Mong? Because she's got a very weird frame. I'd imagine she struggles to find clothes that fit her. So we'll buy a pair of his joggers in the biggest size, and if they don't fit her, we'll shut his company down.
And he'll have to put a disclaimer out there about mole people.
Anyway, he does have another final paragraph.
He does. I don't even know where to start with this one. So I just want to brace our audience. There's a slogan involved.
The slogan is...
shit.
I don't even know if you can call it a slogan.
Well, he's claiming it to be a slogan. So paragraph number 3 begins with, finally our slogan, ambition is priceless.
What does that mean?
We believe here at Sulfit that no matter what situation or circumstance you're in, such as if you've got no legs or if you're in a burning building, you always have an imagination. Unless you have severe brain damage.
Oh, God. I mean, clearly he's got no imagination because the items he's selling are just items you can get from the local charity shop.
They are very basic.
Basic rubbish with no imagination. And it then goes on to say, you can always dream and have ambition. What does that mean? So if you don't have a pair of the most ideal fitting joggers, you can always dream you do? What?
Very confusing. And then to close this off, we have a retarded statement. Choosing to wear Sulfit, so the choice to wear his clothing brand shows that you, as an individual, are somebody that wants to improve yourself. He's also then given the categories of what to improve yourself in by stating it can either be at the gym or just a normal day-to-day life.
So, I mean, I think that just ends beautifully because it's completely contradicted the opening sentence, where he says the design's specifically for people who go to the gym, but now he's expanded that for people. He's just said, just fuck it, you can wear them whenever you want.
Halfway through, he realised he alienated a vast majority of potential clients, and so changed his mind.
He started off adamant they were for the gym, ended the thing, completely confused himself, and just said, fuck it, wear them when you want.
I swear I've never read anything so contrived.
Completely contradicts the opening sentence. And then he just finishes that whole thing off with, we hope you love our products. There is still so much more to come. I don't think there is.
How many different sizes can we get of the same coloured pants?
I don't know.
What more can you, Josh Sullivan, possibly provide to this target demographic?
Well, we've actually got a review coming later on with, I guess, Josh Sullivan's biggest admirer, Joe Worthington.
Yeah, I think this has actually spun Joe the other way in comparison to how he previously felt about Josh, which is interesting.
I mean, Joe Worthington, very specific body type, legs like Mo Farah.
Gay.
I think he did request a size medium in the joggers, and they come up a bit too short to his shins, but...
To be fair, that's in most of the marketing available for Sulfit clothing.
Oh, well, I mean, you can't have everything.
But that's going to do it for the website review. To be perfectly honest, I think this would be more beneficial if it was deleted.
Same. I mean, he's kind of made himself look like a complete moron with that.
I don't even think it's that. I just think it's the case of he's now come across as someone that has schizophrenia.
It was clearly not processed in Microsoft Word before putting it on there as well. There's a few commas missing, a few basic punctuation.
Lots of apostrophes missing. Sentence structure is gone. There's no standardized clauses or anything of any sort. There's just nothing.
The ambition is priceless thing definitely went off the cringe-o-meter.
My ambition is to not visit this website ever again.
My ambition is to get it off the internet. Save people a bit of money.
Primark's cheaper.
But on the bright side, get involved with his social media for a chance to win free stuff. Who knows what that stuff is, but it's got 3 exclamation marks at the end of the word stuff. So
again, grammatically incorrect.
Must be good stuff.
But if you don't want to get involved with his social media, then you can buy stuff from his website with a 20% off voucher.
Well, what you could do is you could just fuck all of that off and go to a real clothing store and buy real clothes. Because I read one of his reviews on his site, and apparently after one wash, it pretty much just disintegrates.
There's also another review which I've just come across by Ken Kong, surprisingly.
Oh, brilliant! Let's have a read of that. Ken's put, "Jogger don't fit. I try on legs and don't fit. Size 32.
Brilliant.
And he's put the seller down as jogger there, which is clearly a mistake, but it's definitely on the Sulfit Clothing Facebook. So, yeah, brilliant. Just another testimonial to prove that his joggers don't fit.
Which is completely against the brand.
And everything it stands for. So, well done, Josh. Well done.
Anyway, speaking of comments, we have also got quite the comment that was emailed into us, surprisingly. So, to keep people up to date, there's been an argument on one of James's videos between the mega Nazi apes from one of the previous episodes and this silly bitch called Courtnee Sunshine.
Well, I guess Courtney's just acting like his bodyguard now because he needs a female to stand up for him. But yeah, she's been saying some pretty nasty things to the Nazi gorilla apes who, in theory, all they want to do is protect the internet from scary trannies.
Which is, they've been doing a very good job of that, which is reassuring to the masses. But beyond that, it's gotten quite heated, and so this was emailed in by Dogwog Lover, which is an interesting name to begin with.
Yeah, it's clearly some angry mother who's read her comments and doesn't want her children to see filth like that over the internet.
Doesn't surprise me, but yes, the comment reads as, and this is directly at Courtney, by the way. Sorry, But what right do you have to call anyone a loser?
Good point.
I've just had a look on your channel, and you don't show your face.
Hypocrite.
Very much so. She even goes on to say, how hypocritical of you. The next time you call someone a loser, take a look at your own life and ask yourself, why you're sticking up for a manipulative arsehole who promised to send people DVDs in the mail, but in the end couldn't be bothered to get off his arse and go to his local post office.
Accurate. Very accurate.
And then this is where Dog Wog Lover really lays into Courtnee. Why is your last name Sunshine, by the way? Bit childish for a grown-ass woman.
Well, yeah, I'd definitely agree.
Then she rounds this off by saying, I tell you what, maybe his mother, meaning James, did neglect him on teaching him manners.
Yeah.
But yours certainly didn't teach you anything about grammar and common sense. There's a little quote from one of the comments here. Mom must be a bitch cos.
Yeah, I mean, definitely no grammar used there.
And so, in sheer laughter, in capitals, Dog Wog Lover has just put lol. What an absolute disgrace. I'm a mother of 5 and my kids are more intelligent than you. P.S. one of them has Downs.
Oh, well, that just says it all.
It really does. That really puts things in perspective.
Well, I think we have our producer, Lance Anderson, here in the studio, and he was quite rattled by some of Courtnee's words.
He really was. Lance, have you got anything you want to say to Courtnee?
Well, the thing about me is I'm a pacifist by nature. But I've seen the horrible things that she has said, and to me, I don't really see what the point is in sticking up for someone like that. And the shite that she said to that poor woman. That dog wog thing, she didn't deserve any of that. So this is an open invitation to Courtnee. I'm really pissed off with you. What I'm going to say to you is, I don't like you, and I'm challenging you to a brawl.
Oh.
A brawl? What do you mean by that, Lance?
Basically, I'm going to knife and brick her in the street.
Wow. Well, it certainly solved the issue that we've got with overpopulation.
It's, it's very close to murder, that is, Lance, but...
Could just make sure she falls down a well or something. Good way of getting rid of her.
I'd like to say it's on the cards.
So, there you go. Next month, if Courtnee accepts that invitation, we'll make sure we go to the local sports shop to get some baseball bats, maybe B&Q, hammer a few nails in there.
Exactly.
You know, make it a bit more brutal, barbed wire, street fight.
Exactly. So we'll be able to document that, of course, and we will be placing bets. I think that's a given. And basically, Courtnee, just email in or put a comment to us. Our email address is reacherpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just drop us a quick message in the comments. Let Lance Anderson know if you are ready to fight.
Definitely wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that invitation.
Definitely not. Lance is, would you say he's an above average build?
I'd say he's an above average build. He's got a little bit more aggression than the average person. I'd say probably more aggression.
Definitely. I was going to say he's a very aggressive man. He's a soldier at heart. And he's both a qualified and unqualified lumberjack.
I just wouldn't want to mess with that.
And he's also got a very vicious German Shepherd called Pineapple.
Just to put it into context, I think Alan shook his hand once and Lance almost accidentally broke his entire arm.
So that gives you an idea, Courtney, as to the kind of man you will be facing.
If that's how he treats his friends, Courtney, I would not want to be in your shoes.
But the thing about this, Courtney, is you can make this all go away. All you have to do is just upload an apology video directly to Lance Anderson, apologising for your behaviour. And
if you don't do that, I'm afraid you're coming on the podcast, whether you like it or not.
So either way, if you can put a stop to this, but if you choose not to, there will be consequences.
So your options are make a nice video for us or come on the podcast.
Either way, you'll probably end up getting battered.
We've got a lot of propaganda specialists in our favour. And, they can make your life very miserable for you. So just keep that in mind, Courtney.
You're pushing your luck, Courtney.
You complete bitch. Anyway, I think that does it for that section.
Oh, those last words just sunk in.
I think that does it for that section. I think we should be... is Joe ready? He's not in the studio, but we did give him a time for the telephone call.
Yeah, we've got him on Zoom. So shall we give him the call?
Yeah, I guess so. Never know what to expect when calling him, but fair enough. Let's go for it. Is it calling?
I think it is. Joe, can you hear us?
Oh, yes. Hello.
I believe you've got some joggers to review for us, haven't you? Some Sulfit clothing joggers, keeping with a theme of Josh Sullivan for this podcast.
Oh, yes. I love them. No, I don't. I love him, but the joggers are cow shits.
Right. Do you want to explain maybe why the cow shit? What size did you get in them?
I got a medium.
Right.
And are you a medium?
Yes.
Right. Well, I mean, what do you dislike about the joggers the most, Joe?
The fit. Very. It feels like a sort of a dirty homeless man groping your legs.
Right.
Right. Well, the key word there being man. I mean, you are a gay man. Does that not make you feel comfortable?
No.
Right.
Would it be an improvement if, say, Josh Sullivan was groping your legs?
Well, it would have been, but because he makes such fucking disgusting products, I have gone off the cunt.
I see. Well, that's definitely the opposite of how you were talking about him on the last podcast there, Joe.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He still has an amazing bum. But unfortunately, it's a no from me for the joggers.
I see. Well, that was definitely unexpected. And are you going to be returning those to him, Joe, or?
Just because he might have packed the joggers with his giant package, used it, maybe rubbed them on the package before he sent them to me, so it might have his cum on it. So what I might do is, lick the joggers just in case I can pick up any traces of cum.
Right. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep the joggers just in case Josh Sullivan's cummed on the joggers, and you're going to lick the joggers just while you're at home in lockdown?
Yes!
Okay, so that's not normal. What I'd do is I'd probably just return them and get your money back, Joe.
That's what any normal person would do.
Okay, I'm going to quickly lick the joggers and then send them back to him. But they are fucking awful. I would not recommend the joggers to anyone. they are, as my mum would say, oh, a bloody coming shit.
Right, I see where you're coming from there, Joe. That's probably a household phrase that you've probably used.
Yes, whenever we had something that was a bit shitty quality, my mum would always come out of the bathroom and say, "Oh, that's coming shit." Like, that sponge is coming shit. It doesn't clean me.
Right, I see. Well, I think that's opened more doors about you, Joe, than it has Sulfit clothing, but thank you for coming on today.
What she'd also used to say is when I used to get baths as a young strapping lad, she'd always used to come in the bathroom unexpected, and she'd always used to say, "Oh, look at your bum." And I used to say, "Yes, Mum, I want a man in it when I'm older." And she'd used to say, "Who wouldn't?"
Right.
Right, well, Joe has just hung up. I'm not too sure where that was going, but he has just ended the call.
Well, I guess I don't know if that wish of his came true, that boyhood dream.
I'm sure it has on many occasions.
Oh, hopefully he didn't have to pay too much for that.
I'd certainly hope not. So that's that anyway. We've also got the the James Johnson Chronicles of him insulting an actor.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, interviewed a child actor who's fully grown up now, but they were a baby, and well, not even a baby, an 8-month-old
infant
who's now 32, and
it was a very awkward interview.
It was. He had a very morbid fascination with his brother's death.
So what we've comprised together, we have gone through the interview and we have made notes of the questions that Mr. Johnson asked this actor.
Well, prop.
Ideally, if you are a baby that doesn't express any kind of emotional character, then you are essentially a prop.
And apparently, he was a twin. So around the time when he was in this movie, he had a twin who they kept alternating between two babies to make sure that one baby wasn't being overworked.
Which makes absolutely no sense.
But that seemed to amuse James Johnson. But anyway, he did ask a number of relatively concerning questions during that interview. Let's see if we can get them up. So he opened it up with you being so young, you had to have screen time, separate screen time, like your brother had to do some, then you as well.
That's a question that he proposed. He also then went on to say, were people able to tell you about the movie when you grew up?
I mean, the last two words of that's very insulting to a 32-year-old man.
Indeed.
When you grew up. All of these are word for word as well. So he also proceeded to ask, not ask. Here, this is just a direct words directing at the person he's interviewing.
This statement. Oh, sorry.
They've been working on it. This is in relation to a documentary they've been working on, apparently, about Ghostbusters. But this is in relation to death and his brother's death. So With that in mind, here we go. They've been working on it and editing on it ever since Harold Ramis was interviewed as well on that. He's also passed away as well.
And he said that with such joy.
Meaning as well as your brother.
Which is horrible.
But yeah, there's also another good one if you want to continue that.
Yeah, there's another good statement as well. So he goes on to say about, I don't even know what scene this was really in context to. It's probably at the beginning of the film, but he then says, "That's a good scene as well. I don't know if it was you or your brother, the one that was going down in the carriage."
I have no idea what that means. I haven't seen the movie, but I think this is the...
I presume with this one, there's when he says carriage, I presume he means something like a pram or a stroller, something along those lines, and that he couldn't differentiate. He couldn't differentiate between two identical babies as to whether or not one of them was the deceased person that he keeps referring to in vain, or the gentleman that he is talking at.
Of course, the gentleman he's talking at can't remember anything from the film because he was not even 1 year old. He then goes on to say, or ask, this is a question. So, like, obviously, when growing up, when rewatching the movie, what do you kind of think of it then? Knowing that you were like a child in it then. What kind of things do you doesn't finish the question because it gets cut off. Yeah. But I don't even know what.
I mean, we can break that down in a similar way to breaking down Sullivan's website, but I'm not really too sure what the point would be.
I think that would be a better About Me section on the Sulfit website than the current About Me section on the Sulfit website.
I think this has more context to Josh Sullivan than it does this actor.
Yeah, so if anybody is listening that works for Sulfit Clothing's marketing team or anything, pop this on the site instead. You're going to increase sales rapidly.
And then one final question that we made note of. When watching back, as in when watching the movie back, do you have any scenes you're proud of?
How can a 32-year-old man recall what he was even proud of at 8 months old into his life?
Again, to really reinforce this for James in particular, if he's listening to this podcast. James, he was 8 to 9 months old. He was a baby. He also doesn't realize as to whether or not he was him or his brother on screen because he was completely unrecognizable.
Oh, it's all just gone tits up.
It really has. It's amazing to think that someone like that could really be, I don't know, why did this man agree to an interview with this buffoon?
It must be out of sympathy because I don't think he's getting paid. He must have better things to do. So that would lead me to believe he thinks he's doing some kind of charity work by agreeing to an interview with James.
Well, he clearly does have better things to do, and I say that simply because, ironically, in a very ironic turn of events, he turns around and says that he has got better things to do. He's got to entertain a 4-year-old child that's destroying the room next to him, which is either a very maniacal excuse or he does have a 4-year-old with ADHD.
Well, I mean, if he does, then he's in a bit of a shit predicament because he's currently talking to a 36-year-old man with the mind of a 4-year-old. So, yeah, the pressure was on at that point.
Absolutely. Very concerning, to say the least.
But, yeah, I don't know how he keeps getting to get these washed-up stars on interviews with him for no money.
Well, he's clearly playing the sympathy card.
But hopefully this doesn't continue happening, and hopefully he gets no publicity for it.
Anyway, I think that's going to cover most things in this podcast. We've covered ridiculous websites. We've covered a banal interview with one of the most retarded human beings on the planet. James, that is.
We've also had some of Josh's rubbish clothing being reviewed by our resident gay, Joe Worthington. And further from that, we've had, that Courtnee comments highlighted. So.
And Gareth's got some new glasses.
Oh, yeah. And he's got some new decorations for his head. So.
Anyway, we've got Ross Wilcock on a Zoom call today. And he's put a note over to us saying that he's going to be singing Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah, the Frank Sinatra song. Hopefully he doesn't get that mixed up with Button Moon, because I had a little chat with him over Zoom earlier just to give him a little briefing on the show. A bit of preparation for his, see how rehearsals are going for the end of the show song. And he, for a week, he's been rehearsing Button Moon, which is, of course, the theme song to the kids' TV show from the 80s.
Brilliant. Well, Ross, can you hear us?
What?
Ross, can you hear us?
Yeah. I think I can. All right. Well,
he seems a bit more backward than usual.
And I think you can hear us. What are you on about? Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sorry. I have the speakers plugged in, so I can really hear what you were saying. You know what I mean?
No.
Right. No, we don't. How's your COVID? It's a bit, I don't know. It's getting better.
Right. Well, we're not really that interested in your COVID. We're more interested in what this song is that you'll be singing us.
Do you reckon, before we get on to that, do you reckon you can fly to the studio next time we do the podcast? I don't know, because I'm getting a bit bad with COVID that.
I didn't really understand anything of what you just said there, Ross, but I'm hoping that was a yes.
Well, again, what?
Ross, will you just sing and get this over with for us, please?
What are you singing for us again, Ross? Button Moon? No, for fuck's sake, we went over this morning. It's not Button Moon. it's Fly Me to the Moon, the Frank Sinatra song. Yeah, but I thought you said like Button Moon, because I was singing Button Moon inside the girlfriend. No. So now you've got to sing "Fly Me to the Moon" because we're not accepting "Button Moon" as an outro to the show. You know, our standards are a bit higher than that.
If you start singing "Button Moon," we will end the Zoom call.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I'm searching lyrics for it. Right, all right, fuck me, fucking Button Moon, fly me to the moon. Right, are you ready, Ross? Yeah. You do know what you're singing, don't you? Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah. Who's it by? Frank Stallone. Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah. Go on then. Fucking bastard. Fly me to the moon. Let me float over the sun. Let me see what life is like. I'm just that man. I remember him being a bit better than that.
Oh, this is awful.
Are you okay? What? Are you alright? Yeah, I'm alright. It's just the COVID and that. Gets to your lungs and that. Right. So,
Carry on.
carry on. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, fly me to the moon. Fly me to the moon. Fly me to the moon. It's time for but a moon.
Right. As promised, the call has now been ended.
Oh, it's fucking awful. I think our standards need to be raised a bit.
I think we should get Joe in to do the finales.
I don't think Ross is himself just lately. His rock star persona seems to have dwindled. It's not the class act that we used to pay for anymore. I think he's got a bit lazy in his work.
I think we shouldn't pay him this week.
Neither do I. I used to come up with his own. I mean, do you remember the classics like Nickadraw and all that?
Absolutely. I've still got that record, but to be honest, I'm thinking of pawning it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of flinging it out the window, hoping to never see it again. We should just maybe put him on I don't know, maybe just not bring him on for the next couple of podcasts and hope he makes a recovery from his dodgy lungs.
We can hope so. And if you want to take over from Ross and by all means sing us out on several weeks of the podcast in his place, then email in to reachapodcast@gmail.com and we will be very glad to hear from you.
Yeah, I definitely think Joe Worthington, as a talented performer, should take that place.
We'll trial this, I reckon, because we've been doing the weather, which we did neglect this time round, but it's pretty much all the same, to be honest.
Yeah, so next time we're going to bring the weather back. It's going to make a thundering return, and also a new performer to sing us out because Ross's contract's ended.
As of today,
we're not bringing him back on. Yeah, rubbish.
Right, well, that's going to do it for this month's podcast. So if you did enjoy, let us know.
Yeah, definitely subscribe for more. Let us know who you want us to ridicule, because we're always looking for stuff like that.
Email in and just let us know if there's anyone that is weak that you need taking off the internet.
Yeah, the weak, the elderly,
the disabled,
blacks, Asians, women, because we don't think they should be paid enough as much as men, and basically just anyone that's got a disability.
Let us know.
Yeah. Right. See you later.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.